Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to another Heat playoff post-game recap presented to you by Empire Boutique. You can get your Everybody versus the City of Miami shirt like this one, and we're going to need that energy as the Heat lose Game 4, 108-95 to the Denver Nuggets. Now, this game was hard to watch. Tough game to watch because the Heat, they didn't really come out with any type of energy. And when you're talking about a Game 4 on your home floor where you really need to put it all on the line and not go down 3-1 like the Heat are right now, we just didn't see that type of fight. We didn't see that type of energy, and it looked like Denver had it, from the get-go. The Heat won the first quarter 21-20, ended a quarter on an 8-0 run, mostly by Jimmy, but we needed more. It looked like the offense was struggling to get initiated, struggling to get points. And it was like that for the rest of the game. We literally couldn't find any type of rhythm when it came to offense. We never had a real big run where we went on like a 12-0 run or something like that. We had nothing of that sort in this game. And it was evident that the Denver Nuggets offense was just flowing much better than we were. They were getting dunks and layups in the paint. We're struggling to make shots from three-point and from anywhere else on the floor, basically. Their size and length is obviously been a topic, right? But it's really affecting the mentality of the Heat players because you're seeing a lot of guys not go up with it in fear of getting blocked or in fear of getting, their shot tipped, whatever, adjusted. And it's really affecting how the Heat play because if you think about it, a lot of the damage that we did in previous series was from the paint, right? Where we got points in the paint and Jimmy was getting to the free throw line and Bam was getting to the free throw line. And that just wasn't happening. When you're talking about, Jimmy Butler ending the game with only 9 free throws, that's too little for a guy who averaged, over double-figure free throws in these playoffs run. In the second quarter, the Heat started trading baskets with Denver, and it wasn't going to work for them because, like I said, Denver was getting points in the paint over and over again. It wasn't about until like 3-4 minutes in the second quarter where the Heat started attacking the painting, and it was being effective. Now, that doesn't mean that they were scoring all the points in the paint, but they were at least trying, right? And getting guys into foul trouble, getting guys to commit to a block and making them jump and taking advantage of them that way. But the Heat, just like I said, they couldn't put a run together, and even in the end of the second quarter, right before halftime, we'll make a run, down 5, down 4, right? Jimmy gets a foul and one, not an and one, excuse me. He gets a foul, gets to the free throw line, can literally end the half with 2 free throws and cut the lead down to 2, and he missed both free throws. Both of those free throws he missed. Now, he only missed one other free throw throughout the game, but like I said, when you only take 9 free throws and you're Jimmy Butler, those misses come up big. And it felt like that took the momentum and the energy out of the Heat because even in the third quarter, one team came out for the third quarter, another team didn't. Strus was getting killed on defense, completely off on offense, and Denver wasn't, was able to create a double-digit lead with about 7 minutes left, causing Spo to call a timeout and try to figure out what he needs to do or what adjustments he can make personnel-wise to get some type of thing going, and just wasn't happening. There was a point in the third quarter where the Heat brought it down to 6, would bring it down to 5, and cut the lead that much. And then every time that Denver needed a bucket or the Heat were starting to make a run, Denver will go to the bread and butter, which is the pick and roll with Murray and Jokic, and that shit is unstoppable. It's unstoppable right now because the way that Joker is playing, this guy is showing why he should have been the MVP and is the best basketball right now on the court. This guy was making his threes. His soft touch around the paint continues to baffle me, only because it's such an amazing thing to see a guy of his size, right? To have such a good touch with the basketball around the rim. It's incredible. And that shit hurt us, man. It hurt us. The Heat tried to get back into the game with about 3 minutes left, but couldn't catch a break. A lot of good looks that we were getting were off. The Heat really struggles from 3 tonight. We were 8 of 25, 32%, While meanwhile, Denver, in that same respect, I think they made 28 threes. Let me just make sure. No, they took 28 threes and made 14 for 50%. No way you're going to beat Denver when Denver's beating you at your own game, right? And that's the Heat's game, making threes, shooting threes. And we didn't put enough threes up, in my opinion. You know, when you're talking about a team that's built off that and we have so many shooters like we do, 25 threes doesn't seem like a lot. I felt like the Heat needs to be closer to 35 threes, right? And hope that a majority of those bad boys go in, but we couldn't catch a break, like I said. And then in the third quarter, Denver was able to increase the lead to 12 points. You know, it was 85-73 by the time the fourth quarter started. And that just showed you how Denver was meticulous about how they attacked the Heat. They knew their soft spots, and they knew that they can get certain matchups, right? Like, for instance, Bruce Brown, you know, former Hurricane, so shout out to him. But he killed us, you know. Every time he got matched up with Duncan on him or Strus on him, he took advantage of that and blew right by them and forced them to defend him. And he was 8 of 11 from the game, had 21 big points for Denver, right? Because they usually don't get that much scoring from the bench. A guy who blew up for them tonight and was their highest scorer was Aaron Gordon. That guy had 27 points, 11 of 15. I think he had 12 points in the second quarter or the third quarter by himself. And he just dominated us. He was able to get so many dunks. It's not like this guy was hitting shots, but he's getting dunks. He's getting layups in the paint. He's getting little bunnies in the paint, right? 2-3 feet away from the basket. And those are makeable for him. You know, he even hit 3 threes. And he's not really a three-point shooter, but just shows you that when you have those other guys step up and give you a real good game, it makes it easier for the team to win. And we saw that because in the fourth quarter, Jokic picked up his fourth foul, right, or his fifth foul with about 8 minutes and 42 seconds left. I wrote it down. 8 minutes, 42 seconds left. And I'm thinking, all right, this is the portion of the game where the Heat have to win the battle, right? We have to take advantage, make every single shot, really stop them on the offense, rebound when it came to that. And we couldn't. You know, it's as plain as that. We couldn't make anything happen on offense, and it was affecting us on defense because it allowed Denver to dictate the pace. And a lot of the shots that Denver was getting were open threes, open looks, and they were making everything. You know, you had Jamal Murray make a layup, hitting it high off the glass. You know, anytime that anybody was around the rim and it was bouncing around the rim, it was going in because of the flow and momentum and energy that Denver was playing with. You know, when you're riding that wave, right, everything seems to go your way. And when you're on the opposite of that, nothing seems to go your way. And that's how it felt for us Heat fans. It was a very, very frustrating quarter. You know, the Denver Nuggets just started to make threes, and every three that the Heat took looked like it was off, and it was off, you know, and then it was rough to watch. You know, and we couldn't take advantage of Jokic with his fifth foul. Comes back into the game with about 3.5 minutes left. And at that point, it was a wrap. Because once he got into the game, Denver just started to go to their pick and roll, knowing that they can at least get a foul or a bucket out of this. And it worked to their perfection. Man, fourth straight loss at home for the Heat. And if you think about it and you want to break it down, you can come up with a lot of stats. You can come up with a lot of, you know, reasons why. But if we're talking about the simplistic answer here, or the simplest thing to see, is Denver outplayed the Miami Heat. Simple. There's not too many times where we saw that happen in these playoff runs, but the Heat got outplayed. It's just that simple. Denver was the definite better team tonight, and it seems like they've been the better team throughout the series, because if you look back at those moments that the Heat have had, whether it's winning a quarter or the game 2 win, Denver was still in it. Even the game 2 win, you know, Denver was still in it because they did take a shot at the buzzer to tie the game, and who knows what would have happened if that game goes to overtime, right? You know, well, as much as I love Spo, and I really do, if you know me, you know me, that I'm the number one Spo supporter, but I feel like he's getting a lot of the timing wrong with his lineups and his personnel changes. I felt like he left Strus out there too long. I don't think that he's played Kevin Love enough. Kevin Love only had 18 minutes. This is a guy who's starting, but then you give, Duncan 25 minutes. You give Kyle Lowry 33 minutes. You give, Gabe Vincent those 19 minutes, Strus 19 minutes when he's struggling. You gotta know the rhythm of the game, and Spo does know the rhythm of the game. Like I said, he's just getting his timing wrong with who he puts out there. I would have liked to seen a lot less of Strus. I would have liked to seen a little bit more of Gabe Vincent, see what he can bring and wake up. Between Strus and Vincent, those guys went 1 for 10, 0 for 7 from 3, and ended up with 2 points. That shit's not going to get it done in the NBA Finals. It's not going to get it done in the NBA Finals. And even though we had, 5 players or 4 other players in double figures, not named Bam or Butler, right? You're talking about Kevin Love with 12 points. He hit 3 threes. Duncan, he ended up with 12 points. Caleb Martin came in here and shot a lot of bad shots. He was 5 of 12 for 11 points. Lowry, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, helped him get to 13 points. It's just ineffective, right? It's very ineffective. And if you're talking about how the Heat have to play, they need to be a high percentage team. Whether it's field goals, 3-point shots, or free throws, has to be high percentage. And the Heat couldn't do it. Just as simple as that, man. They couldn't do it. And as much as people want to blame Spo or something like that, you really can't do that, because at the end of the day, he's not the one responsible. The players have to show up. The players have to give their effort. The players have to make those shots. And they couldn't. I mentioned Caleb Martin. He's been great for us, right? But when he's putting up 12 shots, more than damn near everybody else that played, right, except for Bam and Jimmy, just shows you how bad our offense can be and how rough our offense can be. And we saw that. And maybe this is the Miami Heat's offense regressing to the mean, where we weren't that great of an offensive team throughout the season, and now it's starting to surface again and show why we weren't a great offensive team this year. But I still feel like we were in this game in certain points, right? And for whatever reason, the Heat just couldn't take advantage of the matchups. And when you can't do that, it's very frustrating. And you end up losing like the Heat did, 108-95 at home. That's now our 4th straight loss at home. Denver continues to roll on the road. Not a lot of answers, more questions than answers for sure, but there's still 1 game left, right? Got game 5 on Monday. So your boy's going to be recording with Joel on Tuesday. And on Monday, we got to see a new Heat team. We got to see a team that's fighting for their life. We got to see a team that doesn't want to be embarrassed and lose 3 straight games, right? We got to see a team that has some type of belief in themselves, has figured something out on offense in order to make it somewhat effective. Doesn't have to be Golden State Warriors level, but we do have to find ways to become more effective with our offense and more efficient, plainly, because the shots that we're taking are not good shots. We forced up a lot of threes. We forced up a lot of dump shots. And most of that is because of the Denver defense, right? When we attack the paint, we're in the paint, they do a good job of packing it as well and closing down to make somebody pass it, to make somebody, try to put up a tough shot or they block the shot. So, man, what a tough loss to watch, man, at home. Back-to-back games we lose at home. Not used to that, right? Not used to that. But I think that he can go to Denver and win game 5. We've seen this team respond and perform when they have their backs against the wall. And this is it. This is your season on the line. Do you want to fight for a championship, or do you want to lose a championship? And this would suck, because that would be the second championship that opportunity that we lose, right? Being to the finals twice now with Jimmy and not being able to, close that out. The first time it was with the injuries and the bubble, and now it's just a lack of performance from himself and from the rest of the team. It's hard to bash Jimmy, but he's 9-17, 25 points, and you're thinking, well, that's a good stat line. He has 7 rebounds. He tried his best, 7 assists. But in all honesty, he needs to take more shots. If we're gonna lose, we got to go down with Jimmy fighting. And when the 4th quarter started, Jimmy only had 15 shots throughout that game. I think he should have been in the low 20s by that point, especially that we were down for a majority of the game. And then he only ends up with 17 shots. That means that he only really took 2 shots in the 4th quarter. That's not good for us. We need that guy to be as aggressive as possible. If we're asking Bam to be super aggressive, then we need to ask Jimmy to be super aggressive. Now, Jimmy may be dealing with a lot of stuff, right? The off-court issues with his dad. He has the ankle injury from earlier in the season, but he has to go out on his shield. And I don't think that this game or these last two games, he's really done that. And again, it's hard to criticize our best player, but we got to be truthful. We know that in order for the Heat to have a chance, Jimmy has to be Jimmy Butler and really take us to the next level to allow other guys to shine. Now, one bright spot is Bam. Bam continues to play his ass off through these finals. Another 20-point game, 8 of 19. He made all his free throws, had 11 rebounds and 2 offensive rebounds. But he did have 7 turnovers, and that shit killed us. The Heat lost the turnover battle in a bad way. I think we ended up with 14 total. So Bam having half of that, and Denver only had 6 turnovers for that entire game. Like I said, that you can run into the stats, but just know that if one player has half of your turnovers, it's not a good thing. And yeah, Bam is still learning how to be the point Bam. He has good handles, but when you give the ball up that easily, you're giving the other team an opportunity to come in and hurt us, and they did. Let's see, man. Game 5, like I said, Monday, I think we're going to see a team that's not giving up. I think we're going to see a team that realizes that they squandered opportunities and that they need to make the most of it right now. So I expect the Heat to go out there and win Game 5, bring it back to Miami and see what happens there. But you got to be focused on one game at a time right now, and the Heat have to have that belief that they can go out there in Denver and win yet again. Now, we're going to continue to do this post-game recap throughout the rest of the finals. I know that Game 5 is going to be lit. It's going to be a tough game, but your boy's going to be rocking his Empire Boutique City of Champions shirt. Make sure you guys are following them on Instagram. Go get yours right now. They got the Miami Springs Golf Club set 2. Fire. And yeah, it's time to tell a friend to go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are hitting that notification button so you guys get notified when we drop stuff like this and the rest of the stuff that we're going to be doing throughout the year. Until next time, it's your boy So. Peace.